Welcome back to the Planet Munch Nutrition and Behavior Change program. This week we'll be looking at the importance of energy balance. This means balancing the energy we take in from food and drink with the energy we use to go about our day-to-day activities. Energy balance. Energy is another word for calories. We take in energy or calories through food or drink, and we use up energy when we're active, energy out. Children also need energy to grow. In general, active people use more energy than less active people. People who are more muscular may also use more energy. We balance our energy intake over the long term. Therefore, energy balance is to do with how our weight is over a period of time. We can get away with eating a little more on some occasions as long as we don't do this repeatedly. It only takes a small amount of extra energy or calories from food and drink on a regular basis to disturb the energy balance and start to gain weight. When we are in energy balance, we are using energy from food and drink we take in, and this is providing just the right amount to go about our daily business. When we are in energy balance, we will not lose or gain weight, but will be stable. If we eat and drink more than we use up in physical activity, we will gain weight over time, as any extra weight is stored as fat. Therefore, only a small excess can do this. For example, one extra biscuit each day, or equivalent, providing about 70 calories, could lead to a weight gain of around half a pound per month, and that's 6 pounds a year. To balance extra intake of only this amount, you will need to walk for at least an extra 15 minutes every day. So you can see how easy it is to gain weight if you're not careful. So what affects how we balance our weight? In Paleolithic or Stone Age times, our ancestors never knew where the next meal would come from. Food was hard to find, and when it was available, we had to eat it. We were wired or programmed to eat when food was available and to store energy when there was less around. Ancient humans had to do well on a little so they could survive. Therefore, our ancestors who did this well were more likely to survive and pass their genes on to us, their descendants. So whether we gain weight or not is partly to do with our genes. Many genes have been identified that make people gain weight more easily, and we do live in a world that makes it easy to gain weight. You may have heard of the term obesogenic world. Obesogenic means a world where food is readily available, and especially processed foods that are cheap and high in energy. That makes choosing healthier foods hard for many of us, as choosing healthy foods depends on food availability, quality, knowledge, portion size, cost and budget, eating habits and meal times. We are also less active and spend more time sitting down watching screens. Some children watch on average 5 hours and 20 minutes a day, which 5 years ago was 4 hours and 40 minutes. Even preschool children are sitting down for too long in front of screens and playing screen games. So what affects how we balance our weight? For adults and older children, many things affect the way we balance our weight. Both the mind and the body play an important role. How we see ourselves is something that influences this. Are we happy with our body shape and size? Does this make us unhappy and want to change? Or do we feel comfortable the way we are? This in turn affected by the world around us, where we are under constant pressure from the media, especially social media, to follow the latest fashion trends and do what others do. Our bodies and minds work together to drive our appetites. We eat for many reasons, not just because we are hungry, but sometimes for social reasons, and food can be comforting too. Some people turn to food when they're under stress, while others find they simply cannot eat when they are feeling this way. Companies that produce food know this and promote less healthy foods that are often high in fat and sugar or salt, tempting us to overeat. It's also very difficult to be physically active for many of us, as we don't have access to green open spaces for physical activity and live busy lives, which means we have less time to be active outside of school and work. Young children rely on their parents and other caregivers for food and activities. Therefore, they are the role models who will help them find a healthy lifestyle as they grow and develop and gain the skills needed for life. Myths explained. There are many myths around energy balance. Let's unpack some of the common myths, as often there is some truth to them, such as it's my genes. Weight is influenced by genes to a certain extent and can make us more susceptible to gain weight, but everyone can benefit by eating a healthier diet and doing more activity. Another myth is that physical activity increases your metabolism, so it's the best way to help your body burn fat more efficiently. It is true that physical activity speeds up metabolism, but this is is only a small increase and lasts for a short time following activity. Exercising doesn't mean you can eat what you like and not gain weight. You will lose weight more quickly if you exercise and do not compensate by eating more. We're a big bone family. Even if you have a big frame, you can become leaner and healthier by making small changes to your daily diet and activity. While some people may have health problems that affect how they use and store energy, for most of us, it is just a simple case of balancing what we eat against what we use. The body mass index is still the best indicator of a healthy body size. For most of us, a BMI within the range of 18 and 25 is healthy. Body shape is also important. Fat stored around the middle is linked to a higher risk of heart and blood vessel disease. Therefore, it's a good idea to try and keep waist circumference below 32 inches for women and 37 inches for men. Eating healthily and keeping active is important to lower the risk of extra weight being gained and stored as fat on the body. We cannot change our body shape, but it is helpful to understand how it can influence our chance of a healthy heart and work with what we've got to keep our risk as low as possible. So how many calories do I need a day? The government advice is that we roughly need 2,100 calories per day for women and 2,700 calories for men, as it depends on your age, gender, activity level, weight, medication, etc. Therefore, it's very important to be aware that these are average figures only and may not be exactly right for you as an individual. It is important to know how much you need to eat to stay in energy balance. By reading the food labels, understanding portion sizes, you will get to know how much energy or calories you're taking in each day. If your weight is stable, then you know this is the right amount of daily energy for you. If you are overweight or gaining weight, you need to cut back and be more active. Small changes are more likely to work as you can keep them up for a longer period. Rapid weight loss is not good and has been linked to higher weight gain if the changes made to lose weight are not kept up. This leads to yo-yoing and is not advisable. So what can we do if we are in energy imbalance? For adults, a steady weight loss of 1/2 to 1 pound per week can be achieved with a reduction of 250 to 500 calories per day. That equals to around 5 to 10 biscuits, 2 to 4 slices of toast with butter, 1 to 2 pints of beer, 2 to 4 glasses of wine, to give you some idea. Here are some other examples of what you could cut out and what activities you could do to help achieve this level of weight reduction. So the examples of physical activity would be a 30-minute brisk walk, such as walking the dog, where there is 160 calorie loss. 30 minutes of dancing is a 210 calorie loss. 40 minutes of aerobic class is a 305 calorie loss. And a 20-minute rope skipping is a 190 calorie loss. And things to cut down include 1 average chocolate bar, which could be around 280 calories, 1 medium sausage roll, which could be around 261 calories, a 500 ml bottle of a fizzy or soft drink, which could be around 202 calories, and a handful of peanuts, which is around 295 calories. This may be difficult for some people who may need to make smaller changes over a longer time. This doesn't matter, as it's more important to find a way that works for you and that is sustainable for you. So slowly does it. Calorie swaps can be really helpful. Reducing fat and sugar by not adding it is a great way to lose weight without feeling you're going without, such as a toast or a crumpet with a low-fat spread instead of butter or jam or both. Other swaps include muesli with full-fat milk, 2 Weetabix with semi-skim milk, or swapping a donut for a piece of fresh fruit, or swapping a chocolate muffin for 2 Jaffa cakes, or swapping a garlic or sour cream dip with tortillas for a salsa dip. So what are the benefits of a 10% weight loss? There are many benefits for weight loss in adults who have excess weight. These include improved breathing and sleeping, living longer, improved quality of life, reduced blood pressure, helps to control blood sugar levels, improves cholesterol levels, which in turn can lower the risk of cardiovascular disease and diabetes, and improves back and joint pains. So why are we worried about weight? So today, almost 2/3 of adults, nearly a quarter of preschool children, around a third of school-aged children are living with overweight or obesity. 1 in 4 preschool children start school carrying excess weight, and about 10% have very high levels of excess weight and unhealthy amount of body fat. And for most children, this has happened because of an energy imbalance, and more energy than they need has been taken in over a long period of time and has been stored in fat cells on their bodies. This means their health may be at risk. Children with high levels of excess weight and extra body fat are more likely to suffer from asthma and may even struggle to breathe at night, known as sleep apnea. This is worrying for their long-term health as well, as once children gain excess weight, they are more likely to carry this throughout childhood and into adult life. Children have a greater risk of being overweight if their parents are overweight too. By 2050, the government predicts that more people will be living with overweight and obesity in the future, unless we try and do something about this. And the good news is that we can take action today to lower this risk by improving our lifestyles to eat healthily and be more active. But what about my child's weight? With children, it can be a little bit more tricky to work out how much is needed, but the same rules apply. Stick to less processed foods and minimize foods high in added fat and sugar to achieve a healthy diet. And children need to be active too. About 3 hours of light to moderate lively activity is needed in preschool children every day. Young children under the age of 5 do not need to reduce weight, as this can affect their growth and development. Instead, they need to grow into any extra weight they have gained. We can do this by slowing down their weight gain. The aim is to achieve energy balance in young children and to allow their weight to stabilize. This can be done gradually by following advice to eat healthily, ensuring you include balanced meals and snacks in accordance with the Eat Well guide, and offering the right portion sizes. And your child should also be active for the recommended 3 hours every day. So what can we do? You can eat a balanced diet with 3 regular meals. That's breakfast, lunch and dinner, and 2 snacks, and only occasionally having foods high in calories or sweetened or soft drinks. And how can you encourage activity in your preschool child? It is best for children under 2 to avoid TVs and screens altogether and to limit this as much as possible, especially for older children, essentially allowing for 3 hours per day of moderate activity for preschoolers' children, such as the 6x10 fun burst to make up 1 hour. By removing the screens, you will encourage active play every day. Therefore, build physical activity around family activities such as walking, outdoor play, fruit picking, dancing, swimming, walking the dog, walking to the bus stop, walking to the shops. Walk as much as possible. Try to be moderately active yourself for half an hour a day, at least 5 days per week, as moderate activity is where your heart rate goes up and you are slightly out of breath. Therefore, adults can also be a role model by being active and including 30 minutes of moderate activity every day for 5 days a week. Avoiding high levels or limiting screen time. Getting enough sleep for both adults and children, which is around 10 to 11 hours in preschool children. Making and eating meals together, and switching off the screen whilst eating. Behavior change. Remember, as parents and caregivers, you are a role model for your child. So as a role model, do what you can to set a good example and get your child on the road to a healthy life. This can be done by setting a good example by limiting eating out, having meals as a family, set up family time with non-food rewards, reducing screen time by not eating meals in front of the screen, not including meals around the screen, avoid putting screens in your child's room, limiting the use of tablets and devices around meal times, therefore essentially not having any screens at meal times. Use the Being Active sheet to record how often your child is being active, running around, walking, playing in the park or garden. Remember that for preschool children, the recommendation is to aim for 3 hours per day. After 4 days, compare your child's activity level to this recommendation. If your child is being active for around 3 hours most days, then well done, keep this up. If it is less than 3 hours, can you and your child be active together for a further 10 minutes? For example, have a short walk together or stay in the park for 10 minutes longer. Consider how to increase your child's activity by around 10 minutes a week with the aim to 3 hours a day, using the SMART goal thinking. You joining in will encourage and help them and increase your activity levels as well. Well done for completing week 9.